Hello to everybody in YouTube chat or lurkers. Welcome to Inside the Wrongful Conviction of Daniel Holtzclaw, episode 28. And today, the panel and I are going to read the trial or the preliminary hearing transcript for Carla Johnson. We went over her case briefly with Brian Bates last week, listened to that recording, and so hopefully you got a good enough grasp that you'll be able to pick out the lies and inconsistencies in the preliminary hearing, because there are some. And we'll get started on that in just a minute. It's only 46 pages, 45 pages maybe, so it shouldn't be an incredibly long, read. But I have something I want to complain about really quick, and then we'll get started. I'm annoyed because, as some of you know, I have been planning to live stream the Corey Richens trial from here in Utah. And I thought I've never done it before, so I don't know where I need to be looking, but I thought the court docket, I thought that there was not going to be any hearings until the 26th through the 28th of this month, which I had planned to do some premieres to get you all caught up on the case, and then live stream that hearing on the 26th through the 28th. But there was a motion hearing this afternoon that I'm going to try to kind of see if I can't figure out a way to premiere that somehow. I wanted to do that all on my new channel, so I don't know. I mean, some of that stuff might get started quicker than I had planned. We'll see. Or I might just start here and then switch over. But Kay read something about a description, I believe, in Defense Diaries podcast today about what the motion hearing was about. Sounded really crazy. So can you briefly just say what that was going to be, Kay, and then we'll get started?
Give me 1 second to find it again.
Oh, to pull it back. Oh, you don't have to. It's okay. I know that Stephanie Lazaro was her defense attorney, and then she withdrew, I think, back in May. There's conflicting stories about why she withdrew, so I'm not going to try to. One of them was because it was some conflict of interest or something that she had no control over. But it didn't. There was nothing about her having conflict with the client, which was, of course, the first concern: conflict with the client and going to withdraw, whatever. The judge then assigned a team out of Salt Lake City to represent her, and which I thought was kind of strange. Usually, when you're indigent and you're getting a defense attorney assigned to you, it's usually just one that I've ever noticed or seen, one attorney, but she got a team. So I thought that was really kind of strange. But anyway, Stephanie Sky Lazaro was who was in court today. I'm going to watch it when we're done here, figure out what's going on, and then we'll go from there. Okay, enough about that business. Hello to Jazznaz Gaming. Great to have you here. And we appreciate your support. And, I don't recall is also here. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Hello.
Okay. So everybody want to say a quick hello, and then I'll tell everything that what's going to happen.
Hello, everyone. Welcome.
Hello.
Okay. All right. So today I remembered this time to add the the date and all that stuff, because I always want to try to do that, and then I always end up forgetting. The thing I did forget to do, though, was to put the charges and everything for the accuser to show you who she was, what her accusations were, what the charges were, and if any of the counts he was found guilty on. I forgot to do that, but anyway, it's okay. So This is the first, there are 2 volumes of preliminary hearings. This is volume 1 of the 2, as you can see on the paper. And it was began on the 17th of November, 2014. So that's where we're going to start. Cherie is going to read for the court, Judge Henderson. Kay will read for Gayland Gieger because she really likes him a lot, and you can tell.
He's my favorite.
Hey, Blockhouse Party, thank you for being here. I appreciate your support. Yeah, we're gonna read some trial transcripts today, so great to see you. Hopefully you can stick around for a minute, Eddie, but if not, that's fine too. And then I am going to read for Scott Adams, and Susan is going to read for Carla Johnson. So we're going to go ahead and get started, get this knocked out, and then we'll go from there. So whenever you are ready, ladies, we'll get started. Okay.
State may call its next witness.
Your Honor, I call Carla Johnson.
Ma'am, step on over here by the bench, please. Right here will be fine. Have a seat there in the witness chair, if you would, please, ma'am. Sit where you can be comfortable, facing out toward the lectern. That's where the attorneys will stand to ask you some questions. The microphone here in front of you, you can just pull up closer to your face and you can sit back and relax. You don't have to lean into it. That will wear you out after a while. If you pull it a little closer, we may move it around some more after we hear how loud you are, okay? Would you please tell me your name?
My name is Carla Esther Johnson.
Would you spell your middle name for me, Ms. Johnson?
Esther.
Thank you. Mr. Gieger, you may inquire.
Miss Johnson, can you please tell me how old you are, ma'am?
I'm 52 years old.
All right. Ma'am, if I can, I want to turn your attention back to a time whenever, well, let me ask it this way. Has there been a time whenever you've had some strange contact with a certain Oklahoma City police officer? Something unusual?
No, sir.
Okay. Have you ever had an officer do things that made you feel uncomfortable?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did that happen on one event, or this officer that made you feel uncomfortable? Did you meet him on one event, or did you see him on 2 different events?
I seen him on 2 different events.
Okay. Well, I'd like to talk to you about the first time you came into contact with him first. Can I do that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, do you remember approximately when it was?
Probably, let's see, back in mid-April, April.
Okay. Of this year?
Yes, sir.
Back either in late spring or just early summer, is that fair?
Yes, sir.
Was it still cool outside?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. Well, tell me a little bit about whenever you came in contact with this individual. At that point, ma'am, were you living with a gentleman? Did you have a roommate?
Yeah, I have a roommate.
Okay, and just tell me his first name. Well, actually, go ahead.
His first name was Victor, my roommate.
Okay, and what's his last name?
Wilson, Mr. Wilson.
Well, all right. Well, back in that time, you were still living, and you were still roommates with him. Is that right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Oh, where did you come in contact with the police officer the first time?
On between 14th and 15th and Kellum.
Okay. Is that over on the east side of Oklahoma City?
Northeast, yes.
Okay. What were you doing that day?
I was leaving from 14th going to 15th. I was leaving and it was maybe after midnight, leaving 14th, going to 15th and Kellum, a friend of mine's house.
Well, okay, you were walking to a friend's house.
Yes.
Okay. Do you have a car, ma'am?
No.
Oh, is that the way you get around? You just walk?
Walk? Yes, I do.
All right. So, on your way to this friend's house, is that when you had contact with the police officer?
Yes, sir.
Tell me about what happened. What do you remember when you first saw the police car, or however it, however it is that you saw him?
Well, I was walking. I was leaving out and I was walking north. And then the police car, he was coming north past me. And then he went down and swerved and made a U-turn on 15th and Kellum. We were in between 15th and Kellum, or 14th and Kellum. And he stopped me and asked me where I was going, what I was doing.
Well, okay. Did you notice the police car go down and make that U-turn, obviously?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Did it concern you when you saw him do that?
Well, yeah. But like I said, I wasn't too much worried about nothing. But anyway,
Were you doing anything wrong?
nope, just walking.
Okay. Well, after he makes the U-turn, does he come up and approach you in his car?
Yeah, he comes up and facing in his car and get out and ask me what I was doing, where I was going, and which I've had my jacket and my purse and stuff on. And he asked me to take whatever, as long as I had my phone, my keys, my money, and stuff in my pockets, cigarette lighter.
Did you have a purse? Or were these things just in your pocket?
No, okay. These, my money and my keys, those things were in my pocket. But my purse, I did have a purse on me. I had a jacket on, and I sat all that on the back of his police car.
Okay. So he asked you to take everything out?
Out of my pockets and stuff? Yes.
Out of your pockets. Okay. What happened after that, ma'am?
And so after that happened, he set my things on the back seat of the police car, and he gets me in the back seat, and he gets in the front seat and asks me, get to questioning me and asking me.
Well, okay. Well, let me ask. Did you have any money on you?
Yes, I did.
Okay. What kind of money did you have?
I had $55. I had two 20s, a 10, and a $5 bill on me, sir.
And well, did you keep that money in your pocket or in your,
Yes, it was left, which when he asked me, did I have anything in my pockets? I told him that I did. I showed him my money, my keys, and, my cigarette lighter. I put that back in my pocket, which was in my back pants pocket.
Okay. Well, you told me then after that he actually put you in the back seat of the police car.
Yes, sir.
Did he shut the doors?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then he got in the front seat?
Yes, sir.
What happened at that point?
And then he, I guess, calling in on the radio, calling to make sure to see if I'm clear or not. So he's asking me questions. Have I ever been arrested before? Do I have anything stashed on me? Have I ever been arrested for prostitution and all that? And then he kept saying, are you sure you don't have anything stashed on you? Because most girls that get arrested, they've always hiding drugs down their clothes. And I told him no, that he can call a female officer to check me if he like.
Why did you say that, ma'am? Why did you say call a female officer?
Because I know that men are not supposed to touch women for some reason or another. But, with him kept questioning me there, and so I told him, if he wanted to, he can call and have one that I know, a lady officer. I've been through this before.
Well, that was my question, Ms. Johnson. Had you been stopped by police officers before?
Yes, sir.
And on prior occasions when your body was searched by an Oklahoma City officer?
Yeah, it was always.
Am I understanding your experience at always women would come and do that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Is that why you suggested to this officer that if you want to call a female to search me, do that?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, do you know about how many times he asked you about if you had stuff down your, is it?
Probably 3 or 4 different times that same night, Yeah.
Well, okay. Was he asking about down your shirt or down your pants or both?
Down my pants. He was specifically, do you have anything? Are you sure you don't have anything down your pants?
Okay. Well, eventually, do you know if he was checking you to see if you had any warrants or anything?
Yeah, well, like I said, I know he did do a call-in,
Did you hear him do that?
Yeah, I've heard that. And
What did you give him your name?
I gave him my name.
And so he called in your name to see what was going on.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, do you know what happened as a result of him asking if you had warrants or anything?
Well, I heard them come back clear. And asked,
I'm so sorry, you guys. I hit the wrong button. Which page are we on?
Beyond this,
the last clear. I don't know.
Bottom of
Okay.
10.
Here we go. Okay, sorry. Line 21.
Once you came back clear, what happened?
After talking and stuff, so he got ready to leave me. Got me out of the. Okay. Well, he let me out of the back seat of the car, right? So I'm getting out of the back seat of the car. I noticed a $20 bill laying in the back seat of the car. So I go, oh, I must have dropped my money. So I picked my money up as I'm picking up my money, he go, well, let me check the back seat and make sure you didn't put any drugs back there. So by now, I'm back at the back end of the car getting my belongings, my purse, my jacket, and stuff. And then he tells me go away. Oh yeah, by the way, give me back that $20. And I tell him, I go, no, that's my money. He go, no, that's mine. And I said,
Okay, let's slow down just a bit. Let's let Mr. Gieger kind of ask you a few more questions.
Yeah, and I understand you're kind of nervous, ma'am.
yeah,
But so if I understand you, your purse and things were still in the back of the car.
yes, sir.
But when you got out, you saw a $20 bill.
Yes, sir.
Did you think that was your money?
Well, yes, sir. Yeah.
All right. So you picked it up.
Yes, sir.
But as you're gathering your things at the back of the car, that's when he said, hey, there's $20 that was in the car. Give it back to me.
Yes, sir.
And then you started talking pretty fast. But then in response to him saying, hey, that's my $20, what did you say to him?
I told him no, that was my money because I told him that I had money on me. He go, no, that's mine. So I took and I pulled my money out.
What did you do?
And I'm counting my money. And I see that I actually did still have my money along with an extra $20 bill. And that's when I tell him, okay, well, I said, I'm sorry. This is yours. And he tell me, well, yeah. He said he put that there for a reason.
Did you ask him what that reason was?
No, I did not, sir. No, sir.
Oh, okay. So if I understood the way that happened, you had been given your money back and had put it back in your pants pocket. What the hell is he talking about?
He's trying to say, well, your money was on the back of the car. Why would you think that it would be in the maybe? But now he's saying you
Well,
had put it back in your.
He's saying, and so, oh, okay.
Well, also, he's leading so much that I think he's getting lost in his own testimony, so to speak.
Yeah, well, the judge helped
Yeah.
him out there a minute ago, so
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
they're all on.
Yes, sir.
Okay, but you thought it had come out, and that's why you thought,
Yes, sir.
well, after he said, I had that money there for a reason, was that basically the end of your contact with him? Did he leave you at that point?
Okay. Yes. Got that together, and yes, he left.
Okay, and you went on your way?
I went on my way to where I was headed to my friends.
All right. Do you remember coming in contact with this same police officer sometime later?
Yeah, I believe it was about maybe a month and a half after that.
Okay, and you know that as you're testifying before, whenever you came in contact the first time, he ran your name for warrants.
Yes.
Okay. Well, if I told you that your name was run again by this officer on 26th of May 2014, does that sound about right with the time frame? Do you think
Pretty much. Pretty much. Yeah. Yes, sir.
about the end of May and specifically the 26th day of May 2014?
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay. Is it the same officer that stopped you on that day, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay. Well, can you tell me, did you recognize his face and his appearance as the same officer?
Yes, sir.
Was he driving the same type of car?
Yes, sir.
Well, what kind of car was it?
It was one of those newer police cars, not the black and white one, just a new black cars.
And that's what I wanted to ask you. You know, there are some older cars that have black and white,
Yeah.
but this is one of the all black ones.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Well, on May 26th, then, ma'am, were you also walking or were you doing something else?
I was also walking.
Do you remember the location that you were walking on that day?
Yes. I was on 16th and Jordan.
Okay. Northeast 16th
Northeast
and Jordan.
Jordan. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I got flipped around. And what was the occasion that took you to that location? Um, where, why were you at 16th and Jordan?
Okay. Well, I have a cousin that live over off of 16th between Terrace and 16th and Jordan. Terrace and 16th and Jordan.
Were you visiting your cousin?
No, I left a friend of mine's house at about maybe 2 something in the morning.
You
A
skipped a
little after 2.
you skipped line
Skipped a line.
4.
Oops. No, I left a friend of mine's house that stay over off of 7th and Lottie. And this was probably about 2 something in the morning, a little after 2 in the morning. But anyway, I left that friend's house and my cousin on the way there. My cousins stay on 16th and Terrace in Jordan. So as I'm leaving her place because she didn't answer, I'm right pretty much close to the corner of 16th and Jordan when I noticed the police car turning the corner. So he stopped immediately because he said he didn't see me. He almost hit me. That's why he stopped.
Miss Johnson, you've told me about 2 different events where you were walking relatively either very, very late at night or very early in the morning, correct?
Yeah,
Is that common for you? Are you out during that time of day a lot?
pretty much. I'm always out just all days and nights, but pretty much late nights because that's
That's kind of the way, is that kind of the way you live?
yes.
Objection, leading, testifying. I'm splat. Sorry, that was Scott Adams. That I improvised that. Carry on.
So
He didn't want her to say that's when I make my money.
Yep.
Cut her off. God damn it. All right, ma'am. And so you're walking, and this car comes close to you, and then he stops. And does he say, I didn't see you?
he said, "Well, I almost hit you." He go, "Haven't I stopped you before? Uh, didn't I arrest you?" And I told him no. He stopped me, but I didn't get arrested. So anyway, we talked, and he puts me once again in the back seat of his car, and he does a radio. He calls it in. We're talking, and he said, "You asked me about drugs being down my pants. I have anything hid on me? Did I just?"
Oh, okay. Time out for just a minute. Whenever he's asking about that, whether he's asking you about if you have drugs in your pants or anything else, are you still outside the car?
I'm inside. I'm inside the back seat.
Jesus Christ. Because officers always put people in their car before they search them anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did he do the same type of thing that he did before? In other words, did he have you empty your pockets? Did you have a purse that night?
No, I did not have a purse that night, but no.
Did you put your stuff on the back, or he just put you in the back of the car?
He just put me in the back seat of that car this time.
Are the doors shut?
Yeah, the door shut.
Then is he in the front seat of the car when he's talking to you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Jesus. Okay, and that's when, did he call your name in like he did before?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and that's when he's starting to ask you these same types of questions?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so he's asking if you have anything on you or that type of thing. Did he say anything else to you?
Yeah. He was asking me, are you sure you didn't just come from 14th Street? You know, it's like a known drug area, you know. And I tell him no. And you don't have, but anyway, this didn't take as long as it did the first time.
Do you know if he recognized you?
Well, yeah, he did tell me he did after talking. He said, yeah, now I remember you. You know, yeah.
Okay. Well, what words, if you can remember, did he say about coming in contact with you before? Do you remember what he said?
I just remember, yeah. I remember stopping you over. No, I can't quite remember his exact words.
Okay. And I understand if you don't remember exact words, but did he make reference to the fact that he had stopped you before?
Yes, sir.
What the hell? Is he making sure the jury hears it, all these things the second time?
Well, there's no jury at this point, but
this is prelim.
but still,
I guess he's rehearsing for the jury.
yeah, rehearsal. Yep.
God. Is it me, line 4?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, and did he use those words, if you know, or how did he talk about stopping you before?
Well, excuse me. At first he'd go, hey, I remember stopping you. Did I arrest you? I told him no, he didn't arrest me, but you know.
Okay, so you had that conversation?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Well, and now he's asking you about if you have illegal substances on you this time.
Yes.
What do you do next, or what do you do in response to that?
I tell him no. So when I come back, I'm clear. You know, I heard. So he's getting me out of the back seat of the car. So as I'm getting out, he goes, are you sure you don't have anything down your pants? And I tell him no, I didn't. He turns me around. I turn around, and then that's when he put his hands up underneath my clothes and feel on my breasts.
Are you standing close to the police car when this happened?
I'm at the police car. He got me facing. Yeah.
Okay, but you're actually outside of it, standing up.
Outside. Yeah, we're outside.
Okay, Mr. Gieger, we need to slow it down just a bit. I'm having trouble getting all these details. If you could let him if you could let him ask his question so I can hear his full question, then you can tell me briefly the answer to his question.
Yes,
So
sir.
frustrating.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Gieger?
It's the court.
Line
Line
13.
Oh, I'm sorry. I got
That's
lost.
all right.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm trying to pay attention to what you're saying, and I'm having a little trouble following.
Well,
Yes,
Your Honor,
you are.
that's why I'm letting her say everything 3 times, and then I'm repeating what she says back to me 3 times because we know you're real slow, Judge. We know you've
Yeah.
got other things on your mind right
We
now.
know you got sexual assaults on your crimes on your mind too. It's okay. We get it.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Mr. Gieger?
Thank you, Judge. Miss Johnson, so you're actually now outside of the car standing up? Yeah, for the 4th fucking time.
Ah,
Jesus.
yes, sir.
And if I understood you, are you facing the car or are you facing away from the car? Or are you facing somewhere else
Facing the car.
and he's behind you?
Oh my
Yes,
God.
sir.
And from behind you, is that how he reaches up under your clothes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, tell me what he did. How did he reach up under your clothes? On what part of your body, if any, did he touch?
He just took and put his hands up under my blouse.
Okay. What were you wearing? Do you know?
Yeah, it was just a pullover shirt.
Line
Line
11.
I was wearing a blouse, some jeans.
Like a pullover t-shirt or a button-up
Oh my
shirt? Or do you know?
God.
Yeah, it was just a pullover shirt.
Oh my God. I can't handle this. This is insane.
Just a
Fuck.
pullover shirt? Huh?
Jesus.
Did you
Sorry.
have a bra on?
He gives her a multiple choice.
He did.
Pick one.
Oh.
Oh my God. Well, the judge is having a hard time grasping all of this, so it's just so
Well,
many
he's
details.
now he's in pure fantasy mode at this point. The judge. I mean, you know he's got a heart on at this point. Oops, did I just say that out loud? I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
No, I'm not sorry. It's true.
Oh, he's probably missing
Well-
it because he's texting
His
It is
side
in there.
piece.
prosecutors from the DA's office to meet up in his office later
Yep.
for a dry humping.
Oh, hand job.
Oh. I'm gonna have to. I'll explain to my new chat friends here later. When I'll explain these little things to you guys that are new to the case later.
Or you can just
Oh.
Google Judge Timothy Henderson,
Yeah, you could do that too.
Oklahoma County, and you'll see what he's been up to.
Oh man. Remember, Muffin Rando, this is a wrongful conviction case. Just letting you know. And have a good time in Rob's chat. Say hi to everybody for me. Okay. Carry on.
Line 7.
Sorry. 15. Well, yeah, 15. Go back to 15.
Just a pullover shirt. Do you have a bra on?
Yes, sir.
Okay. When he put his hands up, then if I'm motioning from behind like this, is that what you did?
Oh my God.
Yes. Yes.
I'm going to
Okay.
mute my mic. Sorry. I got to mute because I can't stop talking about it.
Does his hand touch your breast
Yes. He touches my breast.
under your shirt?
Yes, sir.
Is it over your bra or under your bra?
It's under my bra.
Okay. How does that happen? He just
take and put his hands up and just reach. Yeah.
slides them up underneath.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Both hands on both breasts?
Both hands. Yes, sir.
When he did that, ma'am, what did you think?
All I could say was, sir, you're not supposed to be doing that. Please, sir.
Did you say that to him?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and why did you say that to him?
Because I know that's something that he's not supposed to be doing. He not supposed to be touching me, not like that.
Well, did you say anything on this time about having a female officer, or did you just say that the first time?
No, I just said that the first time.
Okay. But you do remember saying you're not supposed to be doing this?
Yes, sir.
Did he respond to you?
No. By then, he just took, after filling the top, he just took his hands, went down, put them down my pants between, I had panties on.
Well, tell me about what kind of pants you had on, Miss Johnson.
I believe I had on some jeans, blue jeans, wearing some blue jeans.
Well, long pants or short pants?
They're long pants.
Long pants?
Yes, sir.
So immediately after he finishes touching your breasts, he then goes down your pants?
Yes, sir.
Is he still standing behind you?
Yes, sir.
Is it are both hands going in, or one hand, or do you?
It was the one hand that went down my pants, past my panties.
Inside your panties?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, what part of your body did his hand touch?
He touched my vagina, my clit. And then he immediately rushed his hands out and said, okay, you don't have anything there.
Miss Johnson, I'm not trying to embarrass you by this, but I want to be real specific on it. Whenever
that
he
wasn't
touched
specific enough.
Yeah, right. Whenever he touched your vagina, did it stay on the outside of your vagina, or did it actually penetrate and go inside your vagina at all?
No, he just on the outside, just touched it and immediately, took his hand off.
Well, Miss Johnson, we really just want you to say that he went inside because we like to throw a bunch of more charges on him.
Yep.
Jesus. Have you ever had an officer do that to you before?
No, sir. No, sir.
So he pulls his hands out and he says, well, what he said to you.
He tells me, he said, okay, you don't have anything there. You can go.
Oh, well, what did you do?
By then, I started leaving and
Well, what did he do? Did he get in his car?
he gets in his car.
Okay, well, which way did he go? I mean, did he drive away?
Yeah, he's driving off.
Well, what happened then, ma'am?
And I'm walking. By now, I'm on 16th and I'm walking toward 16th. I'm on 16th and Kellum. I'm on my cell phone, which I have a cell phone to where it was broke. I can call someone, they can hear, but I can't hear them. Excuse me.
Well, okay, so you had that phone on you.
Yes, sir.
Where was it on you, ma'am? Like, where did...
It was in my hand. It was in my...
I'm sorry. Before you took it out, where did you keep your cell phone? Was it in your pocket? Was it in your purse?
It was in my back pocket.
In your back pocket. Okay. So you call. Who do you call?
My roommate.
Victor?
Yeah.
Okay. Then what happened whenever you called Victor?
like I said, it's late at night, and I know Victor had to go to work. I'm calling him. I'm hoping, not knowing if he answered his phone or not. And I'm just talking on my phone saying, I just got stopped by a police officer and letting him know what that police officer just did to me, just done to me. So now I'm on the corner of 16th and Kellum, and I'm going up Kellum. I look around. Here's this same police officer car coming up to me. He stops again. And he go, oh, by the way, you have a warrant. You need to go and get taken care of. And I said, a warrant? He go, yeah. I don't know what it's about, but you need to go and get it taken care of. And then he drove off.
So he didn't arrest you?
Nope.
Just pulled up and said that to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then he just drove on off.
Did that. Was that frightening to you whenever he pulled up again and said you had a warrant?
Yeah. Yeah. But I'm thinking, now what's he fixing to do? Because he just did this, and now I don't know what's I don't know what to think.
Later, ma'am. Well, let me ask this first. After he said that, did you see him again that night, or did he drive off and leave you alone?
No, I seen him no more.
You didn't see him again?
No.
Okay. Did you have an opportunity to talk to Victor about it later?
Yeah, when I got home, I asked him, did he get the message? So I told him what had just happened, and which I have a friend that I was going to when I left the first time, when I left 14th, going to 15th. And as soon as I got there, I told my friend exactly what happened that night.
Do you remember meeting Detective Davis and talking to Detective Davis about all this?
Yes, yes.
And are you aware that Detective Davis talked to Victor and got phone records and those types of things?
Yes, yes, sir.
All right. Well, after you either talked to Victor and or your friend, did you call the police?
No, sir.
Okay. Well, did you think about calling the police?
Well, yeah, but then I thought, then again, I'm thinking, who are they going to believe? It's my word against his, because I'm a woman, and like I said, he's a police officer, so
Did you think it would do any good?
no. So I just left it alone and just prayed that I never saw this man again, run into him again. But I've talked to people, and I just told people, I talked to, they was like, a friend of mine, he go, I'm gonna always remember this.
Well, and I guess that might lead to my next question, Miss Johnson. I realize that he drove off that night, but since then, when you see police cars, are you afraid?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Judge, just object as relevance.
Overruled. You may answer.
Yes, sir.
Did you say yes?
Yes.
Ma'am, that event that happened that I think you told me is in the vicinity of 16th and Jordan. Do you know if that's in Oklahoma County?
Yes, Oklahoma. Yes.
And the police officer that you came in contact with those 2 times, do you see him in the courtroom?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay. Can you tell me where he is in the courtroom?
Sitting here on my left beside at that table over there.
Oh, okay. if there is one man close to me, one man close to the judge, and one man in the middle, which one is it?
The one that's close here to the judge.
Ask the record reflect identification of the defendant, Your Honor.
Record will reflect that the witness has pointed out Daniel K. Holtzclaw as the police officer who stopped her near 16th and Jordan on May 26, 2014.
Miss Johnson, Mr. Adams is going to ask you some questions, all right? Pass the witness, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
Cross-examine.
Oh boy, do I have some questions. Yes, by Mr. Adams. Ms. Johnson, in regards to what you just testified to here today, we know that there is 2 instances where you came into contact with Officer Holtzclaw, correct?
Yes, sir.
And the first one you believe was in approximately April of 2014?
Yes, sir.
And you would agree with me that on that stop, it was about 12:30 in the morning?
Yes, sir.
And this is a high crime neighborhood?
Yes, sir.
And you get in the back seat and he has some discussions with you, correct?
Yes, sir.
But there is no inappropriate touching on that event, correct?
No, sir.
And then he asked you a number of questions about what's going on. Have you been to a drug house and things of that nature, correct?
Yes, sir.
And then as you exit the car, you take that $20 bill with you, correct?
Yes, sir.
And he said, "Hey, that's mine."
Yes, sir.
And you checked your back pocket and you figured out it was his.
Yes, sir.
And so do you think that could have been a test to determine whether or not you're a truthful person by leaving that money back there?
Speculation, Your Honor, and relevance.
Sustained.
But nothing inappropriate happened in April, correct?
No, sir.
Okay. And all the events you're testifying to here today, you never went voluntarily to the police and disclosed this, correct?
Correct.
They came to you.
Yes, sir.
And they didn't come to, so you never told anyone other than Victor and some friends, correct?
Correct.
And Victor and the friends never called 911 or any law enforcement agency whatsoever, correct?
None that I'm aware of. No.
That you supposedly disclosed these events to, correct?
No.
And what happens is, in August of 2014, Detective Davis, this female sitting here at this table, came to you.
Yes, sir.
And she actually told you that she had a tip that you had been sexually assaulted by an Oklahoma City police officer.
Correct.
And did you ask her what that tip was?
I believe I did.
And what did she tell you?
Well, not that day, but I believe it was the next day or so when they come by. She tells me that from when they did the call in. When they call in, check to see, that's how they found out any female he's dealt with and called in, find out if they had warrants or anything. That's how they got,
So they told you that any female that Officer Holtzclaw came into contact with, they were going to them and telling them that they had a tip that they had been sexually assaulted?
Well, pretty much, yeah.
Wow. Okay. And you said that you had?
Yes, sir.
And you said that you were assaulted back in May of 2014, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you'd agree with me that this transpired at approximately 2 a.m. in the morning
Yes, sir.
in a high crime neighborhood, correct?
Yes, sir.
And Officer Holtzclaw put you in the back seat of his car and questioned you about a number of things, correct?
Yes, sir.
And under your testimony, and you're certain about this, just as certain as you are everything else, that he had you outside the car?
Yes, sir.
He put his hands inside of your shirt and under your bra,
Yes, sir.
skin to skin?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you recall when you were interviewed by the Oklahoma City detective Davis, who is sitting here at this table back in August of 2014, you told her it was over your shirt?
It was under. He put his hand under my shirt. He touched me.
That's not my question. My question is, do you recall being interviewed by Detective Davis and telling her that he put his hands over your shirt, not under your shirt, but on top of your shirt?
No.
Okay. Do you also recall telling Detective Davis that you had no bra on the night this occurred?
Okay. I'm not sure. I can't remember. That's something I'm trying to remember. I'm not for sure exactly if I had it on or not. Yeah. But come to think about it, I believe I may not have. I can't remember, but I do know he touched me, my breasts.
You testified under oath here today on direct examination that Officer Holtzclaw put his hands underneath your shirt and underneath your bra. You were specifically asked whether or not you had a bra on, and you answered yes.
Yes.
Therefore, my question is very simple. Did you, in fact, tell Detective Davis that it was on the outside of your shirt and you had no bra on?
I think she's answered that, Your Honor. Oh, that's rich coming from him.
No
Yeah. Huh?
kidding.
Overruled. You may answer, ma'am.
Yes.
So which is it, on top of your shirt with no bra or under your shirt with a bra on?
I believe it was with, I told Miss Davis.
Now, also, you would agree with me that under your version of events, this is all happening out in public, correct?
Sir.
And it's on the roadside
Yes, sir.
where anybody could see.
Yes, sir.
So under your version of events, after he fondles your breasts, however he does it, he then sticks his hands down your pants, correct?
Correct? Yes, sir.
Did he have to unbutton or unzip your jeans to make that occur?
No, sir.
Okay. Then you testified that he put his finger, and I'm trying to use your words, and I'm not trying to be rude, but you said on your clitoris, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And after he did that, he just pulled his hand out and said, okay, you can go.
Yes, sir.
He didn't threaten you in any way.
No, sir.
And you just walked off.
Yes.
And then you got about a block away, and under your version of events, you had got on the phone to call Victor.
Yes.
But you can't hear Victor, but you think he can hear you.
Yes.
And you're telling him allegedly that you had just been assaulted by this Oklahoma City police officer, correct?
Correct.
And then the Oklahoma City police officer comes up to you and says, hey, you've got a warrant. You need to go take care of that.
Yes.
Did you ever verify whether or not, in fact, that statement was true?
I wasn't worried about it because I know I didn't have any warrants or anything. I haven't done anything. No, sir.
Okay. So do you have any idea under your version of events why the Oklahoma City officer would pull up to you and tell you you had warrants when you, in fact, did not?
I don't know. I think it was just something to throw me off, make me think that he had something on me for some reason. I know he didn't because he just did a check on me. I come back clear. No, I don't know why.
Well, oh my goodness. I lost my page again. Okay. Okay. After when you finally got home and you got there and Victor was there, correct?
Yes.
Did you have any discussion with Victor about whether or not he could hear this phone call that you allegedly made to him after you were supposedly assaulted by the officer?
Yes.
And did he tell you he could or could not hear that?
We listened to his phone, and his phone, you could catch some of it, but not all of it. Then he deleted it. But then I had just told him out of my mouth what had just happened to me.
Sorry. Out of her mouth. She told him. Sorry. Okay. So on the night that this event allegedly happened, you then had an in-person, face-to-face discussion with Victor about what you've testified to here today in court?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you or Victor or anyone else in the world say, we need to report this?
Yes, sir. A discussion I had with Mr. Yarrow, a friend of mine. Yarrow, a friend of mine.
Who the hell is Euro? Jesus. How do you spell that last?
Well, we spell it R-E. Wait a minute. Y-E-R-O. Yarrow. Y-E-R-O.
So there is Mr. Yarrow who is there. Victor is there, and who else is there?
That's all who I've told.
Okay. And then you are testifying here today under oath that you told them what you testified to here today?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did any of the three of you say, we need to get this reported to law enforcement?
Well, yeah, we pretty much have a sister that knows a lot about law stuff. So he asked me if it was okay if he could talk to his sister about this because, and then I give him my permission to. So that's about it.
Okay. So Mr. Yarrow, he has a sister that's familiar with law enforcement?
Yes.
Is she in law enforcement?
I have no idea. I don't know. All I know is what I've told him, and he's pretty mad, heated about it. And he has a sister that knows about this type of business, what to do, what I can do about it, and how to go about it. Anyway, and that's where I pretty much thought that when these officers come to my house that one morning, I'm thinking maybe she heard it from them. You know that. Heard it from his sister, which I don't know her name or nothing, but.
Okay. Well, the officers didn't come to your house for approximately 3 months later, correct?
Correct.
So in the 3 months leading up to Detective Davis coming to see you, telling you that she'd received a tip that you had been assaulted by an Oklahoma City police officer. Had you followed up with Mr. Yarrow of whether or not he had any conversations with his sister?
Yeah, but he said that his sister didn't, she didn't.
That his sister what?
She didn't. She ain't the one reason why they come to my house.
Good Lord. But you're very familiar with the criminal justice system, correct?
Pretty much.
Is it not true that, in fact, you have 7 separate felony convictions?
Well, yeah.
Do you have more than that?
I mean, what do you mean? I don't quite understand.
Well, it's not hard. Well, you've had experience with our court system, correct?
Correct.
You've been arrested on a number of times by the Oklahoma City Police Department?
Correct.
And you have at least, what I can tell, at least 7 separate felony convictions?
Okay, correct.
Is there something, am I missing? Do you have more than that I don't know about?
Not that I'm aware of.
Do you currently have any cases pending?
I believe there is a firearm charge I have pending.
What do you mean you believe?
Well, I was at a house that was busted, and for the fact that I was there and shouldn't have been there because I'm a convicted felon. There was a gun at that house, but they got the person who the gun sold. Therefore, the person is already doing his time for this gun and stuff, and that's been back in March of 2011. So it's still pending for some reason or another. I don't know.
Okay, so you currently have pending a felon in possession of a firearm.
Yes, sir.
Because you would agree with me that as a convicted felon, you're not allowed to possess a firearm?
Yes, sir.
But you were apparently in a house where the firearm was found?
Yeah, but I didn't know that firearm was there, though.
Doesn't matter. Okay. You said that you told Mr. Yarrow and Victor about what had allegedly transpired that evening back in May of 2014. On direct, you said that you also told some friends. What friends did you tell?
I mean, like, there would be friends, like another friend of mine I probably mentioned to, Ricky. His real name is Russell Adams. And I mentioned it to him, and then I also remember telling it to my baby daddy, my kid's dad. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Huh. Having read through the police report, there's no names of any of these people ever that I can remember seeing. That's just added. Let's see. 19. Did Russell Adams or the baby's daddy ever suggest that you report this to law enforcement?
No, sir.
Did you ever make a memorandum or a writing of any kind detailing what had allegedly transpired in this evening?
No, sir.
Okay. At any time, did you have the ability to record from your cell phone?
Well, when I call my roommate, like I say, when I talk to him, I don't know. But no, I don't know. When I call him, I don't know if he answered or if the cell phone, if his recorder picked it up. The recorder picked up on one of them, on some of them. So other than that, no.
Do you guys remember? I only remember her calling once.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what she's talking about here.
She's probably
Yeah,
talking
well.
about other times she called.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe. Excuse me. So there's some kind of a recording?
Yes, sir. pretty much on one of the recordings that when I was talking to Victor on his phone, it wasn't all caught. Just some of it was caught on there.
Have you turned that over to the Oklahoma City Police Department?
I don't know. He had deleted it. It was already deleted because when I went in to talk to him that night after he heard whatever, he deleted it. And then I just pretty much told him what had just happened to me. He don't keep stuff in his phone and stuff.
Well, a little minute ago, you said that you and him listened to it together. Didn't she say that earlier, just a little bit ago?
Yeah.
I think she did. Okay. So I'm assuming what happened is whenever you called him, it went to his voicemail and you had left a message?
Yeah.
And after you described criminal activity by Oklahoma City police officer, your testimony is Victor deleted that?
Yes, sir.
Pass the witness, Your Honor.
Redirect.
Thank you. Just briefly, Your Honor. First of all, Ms. Johnson, as Mr. Adams pointed out several times, you live in a high crime area, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. As a result of that, ma'am, I think Mr. Adams also pointed out you've come in contact several times with law enforcement, correct?
Yes, sir.
Sometimes you've been doing things wrong. Sometimes you haven't.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, generally, whenever you come in contact with a police officer, does it make you nervous?
No.
Judge, just object as relevance.
Overruled.
Does it make you fearful sometimes?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. He asked you if you remember why this officer, if you had any idea of why this officer would tell you, oh, by the way, you have a warrant when you don't have one. Do you remember him asking you that question?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is it possible that since he just put his hands on your vagina, he wanted to send a message to you that he could arrest you if he wanted to?
Oh my God. Judge, I object as leading.
Sustained.
Oh, when he pulled up and told you that, oh, and by the way, you have a warrant, didn't it make you nervous?
Well, no, not really.
Why not?
Because I know I didn't have any warrants for anything.
Well, okay. You didn't think he was telling you the truth?
Know it. Yes. Correct.
So is it your experience, ma'am, in dealing with the police department as often as Mr. Adams has pointed out that you've dealt with them, that they believe what you say and take you seriously when you say things? Or did they think you were lying to them all the time?
Probably think I'm lying all the time.
Judge, again, I just object to the form and also the relevance.
Overruled.
Okay, and in fact, this officer, I think you told me whenever you told him over and over and over again that you didn't have anything on you, he kept asking, didn't he?
Yes, sir.
Judge, again, I object to form.
That's been asked and answered a couple times, Mr. Gieger. Let's do each question just once, please.
Ma'am, I want to talk about, if I can, Mr. Adams asked questions about what you remember telling Detective Davis versus what you've said in court, correct? Do you remember him asking you those questions?
Yes, sir.
Okay. He asks a lot of questions about whether you had a bra on or whether he touched you on top of your clothes or under your clothes.
Yes.
Okay. Regardless of what you remember telling Detective Davis or what you have said, I want to know what happened. Did you have a bra on that night? Do you know or do you not know?
Okay. I know I didn't have a bra on, but he touched me up under my clothes. It was under my clothes that he touched me.
Okay. Had a shirt on, but no bra?
Yes, sir.
Does sometimes you not wear a bra when you're walking around?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Are you positive that he touched his hands on your bare breast, your skin to skin?
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay, that's all.
Recross.
I don't have anything further, Your Honor.
Miss Johnson, that's all the questions we've got for you, ma'am. You can push that microphone forward out of your way and step down. May Miss Johnson be excused?
She may, Your Honor.
You're free to leave, Miss Johnson. Thank you for being here.
Judge, before we go to the next one, I think as a matter of form, I might ask, since we did it before on count 13.
All right, sir, I'm there.
Fourth line from the bottom, Your Honor. Again, after the to wit paragraph alleging a crime of sexual battery, it says, touching the breasts of CJ with his hand and over her clothing. I would ask that, based upon her last inquiry and her testimony, that it would be under her clothing.
God,
That
Oh
is
my
responsive to the
God.
testimony and will be
what
allowed.
a motherfucker.
Oh my God.
You know, because her memory's got to be way more clear right now than it was.
Yeah, that
For
is,
fuck's sake.
and Gieger does this through the entire trial with as many witnesses as whose testimony he can get them to change during trial. It's disgusting. Okay, sorry.
Wow.
Line 9.
That is responsive to the testimony and will be allowed.
That's all, Judge. Do you want us to start with another witness, or do you?
I do not. Pursuant to our conversation in chambers this morning with both counsel present, we'll recess at this time. I'll do my very best, counsel, to be back by 1:30. That's a kind of out of my control, but I will do what I can. That will be our target. Is there any other housekeeping matter that we need to address while we're on the record from the state?
No, sir.
Anything from the defendant?
No, Your Honor.
We are in recess until 1:30.
God, that is so infuriating. Oh,
Where you got to go at till 1:30, Judge?
Probably has
yeah, no kidding.
Has what?
He probably has a docket in reality, but he could just be doing other things.
Flipping over to see somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah. Going to be in chambers with one of his side piece ADAs. Or it could be one of the defense attorneys that we've never heard anything about, which is really, I think that is where the juice is, to be honest with you, with Henderson. But I digress.
What are you talking about?
Well, because we never heard, because in Judge Henderson's, in the accusations against him, it was ADAs from the DA's office. So we know at least 2 of those, right? But there were 5. 2 or 3.
Were 3 and then 2 attorneys.
And then 2 defense attorneys that I, anyway, don't recall ever hearing anything about.
No, we only know 2 of the people. Is that right?
As far as I know. Yeah. Oh, it's infuriating.
Kelly Collins and Carson Turner.
Carson Turner, yeah. Yep. So kind of just briefly what we're talking about for those of you in chat who aren't aware, and there's at least one video on this topic. About, I think it was 3 years ago this April or March, Judge Henderson, Daniel's judge in his sexual assault cases, Henderson was accused of, quote, serious sexual assaults, end quote, against at least 5 women who were making accusations. 2 or 3 of them that we know of were ADAs in the DA's office. So they worked with him. Well, one of them for sure worked with him very closely. Both of them, I think Carson Turner and Kelly Collins, is that what you said?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Those 2, I believe, made statements, and they both testified in their affidavits that in ways that made it sound like the judge forced himself on them. That's a whole other story. But then there's at least 2 other women defense attorneys who have also made claims of serious sexual assaults against Judge Henderson. Judge Henderson was forced to retire. I believe it was definitely the first Monday in April that year. I know that because it all came out at the end of March, and then if he didn't resign in the first week of April, they were going to fire him, but he resigned. So he gets to keep his pension and all that happy horse shit. But anyway.
That's bullshit. Oh my God, that pisses me off.
Yeah. And this is just to try to put it in a neat little package with a bow on it. This is the same judge who was presiding over and making decisions in Daniel Holtzclaw's case, which involved 36 different sexual assault types of charges. That's what we're here doing. We're talking about that and how all of those charges are in fact lies. And that's why we're doing this, so that hopefully you guys can, hear the truth. So
he also dictated the amount of time for each charge, did he not?
Oh, yes. Well, yeah. Well, the jury suggested. The jury suggested what they wanted him to, and they wanted all the maximum charges. The jury did.
That's not true.
Oh,
that's not right. I just researched I wouldn't know this. I just researched this yesterday. Okay. Because I thought that too until yesterday. So what the jury did was they decided to be consistent. So for each charge that was the same for different accusers, they decided on what the sentence would be, and they went somewhere in the middle of the range. And then if they found them guilty, then that's what they did. That's what they suggested. But what Henderson did that made it worse was he ran all of those sentences consecutively. So ended up giving Daniel 263 years.
For fuck's sake.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he's sitting at home with a pension.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've seen that too many times, haven't we? Because we don't know why Lieutenant Timothy Musney retired, but he retired and got his pension.
Yeah. Well, so did Dick Smith.
Yeah.
I thought I heard Timothy Musney left under some issues, or was that just a rumor? Something to do with a sexual assault case or something?
Musney?
That
Oh.
Musney did. I've never seen that, but I'm really curious.
Yeah, I
remember
haven't
hearing
either.
that somewhere. It's like
Ooh.
2019 or something. But maybe I dreamed it.
Ooh.
But I don't think so.
Well, Cherie, I know, well, all three of you guys are the last ones that I would expect to not be knowing something about what you're saying. I, on the other hand, clearly can make regular, fuck ups for sure. But that's definitely, so I think if you're saying you heard something like that, Cherie, you probably did. So we'll be checking into that.
The other thing with Henderson, which I thought was interesting. So, he gets a bar complaint because of the Hashhagen case. Robert Hashhagen, he was prosecuted by Kelly Collins in Judge Henderson's court. And at the time, they were, having sexual encounters in Henderson's chambers and at an apartment. And I think at a hotel somewhere where apparently she had made the reservations. Anyway, so because of that, someone filed a bar complaint against him, which I don't know why more bar complaints haven't been filed against him. I don't even think anyone in the Holtzclaw case ever filed a bar complaint against him, which is wrong. So, so he has this whole trial basically set for in front of the Oklahoma Bar Association. And reading the docket of that and you can go on to oscn.net and the documents are available if you want to check out how he tried to squirm out of having all that stuff come out, because that stuff got handled inside the grand jury. And Oklahoma, I don't know if other states are the same, but in Oklahoma, the things that are handled in the grand jury, they're private and they never come out, is what I thought until today. Remind me to come back onto this other Enid attorney that's going to be in front of the bar and tell you what I learned today. But I want to go ahead and finish what happened with Henderson's bar hearing. So they're going to release the details of his affairs, which are some of the stuff that would have been inside the grand jury. He's going to have to answer to that. So Henderson writes a letter to the judge, or to the bar, and says that and it's so arrogant when you read it. He says there's no issue that he had a consensual sexual relationship with Kelly Collins. That doesn't need to be, that doesn't need to even be talked about, because he confesses to the consensual relationship. All that they need to worry about is punishment for this ethics of it all. Like, he's still a judge and he's telling, he's so used to ordering people around. It was just the most arrogant thing I've ever read. Well, the bar says, no. You will respond to these questions. You will answer these questions regarding the sexual relationship by this such and such date. So instead of doing that, he takes it right up until the day before he was ordered to explain and answer. And he resigns his bar license. And he says this, he says, I desire to resign and I'm tendering my resignation freely and voluntarily. I'm not being subjected to coercion or duress. I'm aware of the consequences of submitting this resignation, and I'm aware that this resignation is subject to the approval of the Supreme Court of the state of Oklahoma. However, I intend that it be effective from the date and time of its execution, and I will conduct my affairs accordingly. He continues.
I'll conduct my affairs accordingly.
I think it means
I'll fuck whoever I want.
no. I think it means.
Kidding.
I mean, I think in here it's a thing where it ends up being that he can actually get his law license back after 5 years, which you don't actually get in the press.
What about the other accusers?
Well, no one. This is the only bar complaint that's been filed, and it was regarding him and Kelly Collins. No one else filed a bar complaint. Tim. So this is only dealing with his law license. So number 6, he says, I'm aware that the burden of proof regarding the alleged the allegations set forth herein rests upon the Oklahoma Bar Association. However, I hereby waive any and all right to contest the allegations. I'm aware that pursuant to Rule 8.2, either the approval or disapproval of this resignation is within the discretion of the Supreme Court of Oklahoma. I have familiarized myself with the provisions of Rule 9.1 and do hereby agree to comply with all provisions. So nothing comes out.
So nobody ever charged him with anything?
I mean, nothing. What they said in the grand jury's report is that they couldn't prove that it wasn't a consensual relationship. Within the letter of resignation, Henderson stated, I admit my conduct brought discredit upon the legal profession and was prejudicial to the administration of justice. Henderson agreed to be reinstated to the practice of law only upon full compliance with the conditions and procedures. And I think that's what he meant by he would conduct his business accordingly. He would go into the night for 5 years and then reapply and get his law license back, and he would never have to disclose the details. This article continues on and says, Benjamin Munda, the attorney for Hashhagen, stated in an interview in July that this case calls into question every case that he presided over with either of the two prosecutors that he's alleged to have had secret sexual relationship with, which could be a great number of cases. Anyway.
Not to mention the third prosecutor, right? Or the two attorneys.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, the two attorneys, you don't hear anything else about them. You don't hear anything about who the third DA is, which I think Carson Turner, if I'm not mistaken, is not an attorney anymore. I need to double check that. Kelly Collins got moved to a different Podunk County, and then another prosecutor got moved to a shithole county, Pottawatomie County, and that is Lori McConnell, who was the assistant DA.
McConnell.
who helped prosecute
Daniels.
Daniel's case.
Yeah.
Why would she be moved?
Yeah.
And why would she not be named?
Well, she
Well,
didn't.
we know
well,
why she, yeah. We know why she wouldn't be, because we'd do anything not to have Holtzclaw get a new trial because of Henderson's shenanigans. I mean, they went to great lengths to not let him have any relief by, he files his direct appeal. They handle his direct appeal once they see that there are allegations that the lab analyst was basically unqualified, or that she just flat out lied about there being no male DNA in the mixture of the one DNA sample from Adara Gardner. They couldn't handle that issue out in the daylight because,
Yeah.
I mean, it would expose them. So what they did was the Oklahoma Court of Criminal Appeals tells Henderson to conduct a hearing regarding that issue. So he conducts a closed hearing for 2 days where the defense is not allowed to be a part of it, but all the prosecutors are in there, all the people from the DNA lab are in there, the city attorney's in there. And then when Holtzclaw's team finds out about it through Phil Cross, who was a reporter for KOK 25, Fox 25 at the time, he got the surveillance video from the room, from the hallway, that showed everyone who went into that hearing and out of that hearing to show. And so Holtzclaw's team files a motion that, that was unfair and it was unconstitutional, and that his team should have been allowed to be there. And not only could they not be there, they couldn't even get transcripts of the 2-day hearing that weren't heavily redacted until months later. And they allow his post-conviction attorney from OIDS, the Indigent Defense Group, James Lockard, they allow him to read these heavily redacted transcripts, but he's not allowed to have a copy. He has to come to the place where they are and stand there and read them. And he can take notes. Right. And still, those are still redacted and they're still sealed. Holtzclaw has never been allowed. So how they answer his motion is, I wish I could remember the exact words because it's so good. Although Mr. Holtzclaw should have been able to attend the meeting or the hearings, no harm was done to him by not being there. How freaking arrogant is that?
Jesus.
That the same people that exclude him from being there get to say if any harm was done or not. And then not only do they seal everything, they put a gag order on the players that were in the room. So during Daniel's civil case, where all of the accusers except 2, all but 1 filed civil case against him and ended up dropping. One of them got kicked out for not answering. So 11 of the 13 women were in a civil suit. And when Daniel's team, Kathleen Zellner and Doug Johnson, came in and they did the depositions, most of the depositions for Daniel, team, and they weren't allowed to, like, Campbell Ruddock was Elaine Taylor's supervisor. He was the manager of the DNA lab. And he seems like a really honest guy. But in his deposition, he couldn't answer what was the topic of the secret hearings.
Yeah, he wasn't allowed.
The city attorney was in there, objecting and stopping him all the time. But in the end, at the very end, Kathleen Zellner did this. I don't know. I mean, it's almost like Rick, like the city attorney, forgot that was the most important thing to keep hidden. And Zellner tells him, last question. And he says, oh, you promise? Well, if you promise it's the last question, I'll let him answer. Sorry, guys.
Is that the same deposition where Zellner says something like "down, boy, down" or something like that?
Yeah. Yeah, it was in Campbell Ruddock's deposition where she tells Rick Smith he needs to dial it back a notch.
Yeah. It was pretty good.
Tells him that you're screwing. We'll have a phone call. I don't want you screwing up my transcript. We'll have phone call, Rick.
Yeah, that was pretty epic. Yeah.
But as a result of that last question, we did end up finding out that the topic of the secret hearings was Campbell Ruddock's review of Elaine Taylor's trial testimony. And he said some really telling things in that deposition, too, about, how she should have explained the male DNA, that it, just as likely as that she should have said that although it's below the stochastic level or the threshold with which they measure in the lab, that she should have said that, yes, there was male DNA. It was just below the level of anything that they would count, because it's still male DNA. And the other thing that she should have made more clear was, it could have come from vaginal DNA, but they didn't test for that. And that she should have said that just as likely as it could have come from vaginal DNA, it could have been touch DNA from skin cells. You would have to give those equal weight. And that's where she could have done better.
Right.
So, anyway, I got way off the track.
Hey, that's
it's
good
not hard to do, though.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it all comes back full circle at some point. So, I put the secret hearings video we did in the chat. So if you're interested in that, which I 100% recommend, you can check it out. Check out that video. And I think I think it actually starts with the Phil Cross report. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think I got some, not strikes, but like some notifications from YouTube that I had overused it or whatever, but it didn't matter. I wasn't monetized at the time. Anyway, so check that out because it's definitely worth checking out. And I'm currently looking for the Dr. Silkman's DNA presentation. Here's the standalone. So this is going to be Dr. Silkman's standalone presentation. What I mean by that is we did an entire live stream on it. And then I just took out just the presentation part and ran a separate video for that. So this is, let me get the link here. I'm not very good at sharing my own links and stuff. But this is also very good. And then if you want to, you can go and find that full live stream that we did, because there's also some good conversation that goes on, discussion around the presentation itself. So I would recommend watching them both, personally. There's lots of stuff that we covered, in the last 3 years that we have more information about now. And anything that you're unsure about, we've probably done a live stream about it. There's probably a video about it, or you can just, let us know if there's something specific you're wondering about, and we can direct you where to go. Under Your Scars has the question, do you know if Dr. Silkman's DNA evidence is being brought up by his lawyer? I'll let Kay answer that, because I don't know. I know it was presented at the time, but I don't know where it stands at this point, or if it does.
I don't know that. I don't know the answer to that.
Okay. I know it was talked about. So, and then this is always a question I get from people as well, by Under Your Scars. Why does the Innocence Project not pick his case up? Idiot Peterson even has them on his case. Yeah, that's true.
Well, first of all, he still has a post-conviction effort left. And after that, he could ask the Innocence Project doesn't usually step in until all appeals have been exhausted. But the other problem is, when you look at all these cases that the Innocence Project takes on, they like to take on DNA cases where they can prove that it was the wrong person. This DNA is a mixture. I mean, it's not like, so the male component of this mixture that came from Adara Gardner, or I'm sorry, that came from Daniel's pants, it's not going to say, if they retest it, there's not a complete profile for the male DNA component. So it's not like it's going to say, hey, it wasn't Daniel, it was that guy. And that's what usually happens with DNA and the Innocence Project, as far as I've seen. I'm sorry, that was a really messed up explanation. I hope you understand what I was trying to say. No?
Well, kind of.
Sorry, I was muted.
So what I mean is, so like in the Julius Jones case, or in the Rodney Reed case, or whatever, the Innocence Project, if they retested the DNA in the case, they could probably clear those two guys. It wouldn't match them. But with this sample, and I think people misunderstand, there was only really one DNA sample that was involved in Daniel's trial. I mean, I know Rosetta Gray said all this stuff, and they took all these samples from her house and her bed and the back of a chair, and all that. Well, none of that came back to Daniel. So I disregard Rosetta Great's DNA samples. The DNA with Adara Gardner and the pants is the thing that looks the worst because it's on Daniel's pants. It's around the fly of his pants. And it just looks bad. It sounds bad. And there was no testing to rule out vaginal fluid. And, you know, Elaine Taylor, the lab analyst, says that she did not, that she looked at the pants with a bright light. She didn't use an alternate light source on the pants. And, you know, she didn't see any stains on the pants with the bright light. And so, you know, she just didn't do the alternate light source. So those tests were never done. I don't know. Is that something the Innocence Project would do? I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's going to
Hard
be
to say.
DNA because
Right.
it's on his pants. I mean, you know, the prosecutor even tried to say, his, you know, even his own DNA wasn't on his own pants. And they're trying to say it's transfer DNA. Well, I mean, there's not a complete profile of the male DNA in the mixture. And it probably is Daniel's DNA. And you can listen to Dr. Silkman's DNA presentation and see what you think. I mean, it's not like Daniel didn't come into contact with other men that he searched before he put in the back of his car in the 2 days that he had those pants on. So it could be someone else's, but I would be really shocked. I mean, it's gonna be his DNA.
It is. And when you look at and when you watched Dr. Silkman's presentation, I put a bunch of links in the chat, you guys, for different things to watch. So I did the standalone that you can watch if you just want the DNA information, and then I just linked the entire conversation of that same presentation as well. And then because there's questions and things that we asked of Dr. Silkman while he was on with us, you know, that might answer some questions for you as well. But it like Dr. Silkman says in the presentation, it's and I think that all of us were, I know I was, I don't know if shocked is the right word, but definitely found it very surprising that there was an amount of Daniel's DNA that actually does show up in the testing. And Dr. Silkman has, you know, outlined it and color-coded everything and explains everything step by step, proving that Daniel's DNA was indeed noted or detected in the sample. So, you know, that's just more disingenuous testimony from Elaine Taylor, and more so even than Elaine Taylor, Gayland Gieger, and the way he questioned her during the, you know, and in fact, I think there's another whole episode that Dr. Silkman did with us regarding the testimony that she did, Elaine Taylor gave during trial, and able to refute quite a few things. So anyway, there are those videos that I put in the chat that are really good ones for you to check out regarding DNA and Timothy Henderson's corruption. So, and since we brought up Henderson, just going to throw this out there. There's also, and I have a video on this as well, there's also a a case that has been dismissed with prejudice or without prejudice regarding Gayland Gieger's son and sexual assaults. So I have a video on that as well. So, you know, all these people who are pointing their fingers at Daniel wrongfully, you know, they have their own sexual assault skeletons in their pants, you know, and they just shouldn't be trying cases that have to do with anything like that, you know, I don't know. I just think it's horseshit, you know, that they can sit in judgment and accuse Daniel of all these horrible things when they have their own problems with, you know, keeping their shit in their pants. So anyway, a lot of information. Why does the word crats come to mind? Well, you know, because they're similar things for sure. So anyway, great show. I think we got through that transcript relatively quickly. Next week, we'll read the trial transcripts, and we can see how different the trial testimony is going to be from the preliminary hearing testimony. I found Carla Johnson very difficult to understand and follow, and Susan did a great job reading those parts. It's not easy when you're trying to read the part of somebody who is not speaking clearly or, you know, making a lot of sense. Because, you know, our muscle memory tells us, okay, this should be the next word or the next phrase, but it doesn't come out like this with most of these accusers. So she does really good at, you know, staying on top of that. And of course, Kay is great with Gayland Gieger, and you know, our Cherie, awesome with the court, always, you know, on point with what she's got you know, her parts as well. So anyway, go, Susan, you were going to say something.
I'm just going to say thank you, Robin.
Oh, no, thank you. Under Your Scars, who's the guy that does the podcasts on Daniel again? It's been a Jason Flom. Is that who you're talking about? Jason Flom?
Or Brian Bates?
Or Brian Bates does the podcast, yeah. I didn't know if that's, yeah, so we can get you some links to that too. Or it's all in Daniel's Truth as well, so. All right. So, thank you, everyone. It's, you know, I appreciate, okay, Bates. Yeah. And that's the timeline we're following Under Your Scars is his timeline of events. So
when you look that up, you search Bates Investigates.
Yes.
That is the title.
Joffrey, good night. Thank you so much for being here. I know it's late for you. We appreciate your support, and I know Daniel does as well. And Under Your Scars, next time I write to or talk to Daniel, I will tell him. I'm sure Kay will as well. Under Your Scars says to tell, she's written and sent pictures. She says, tell him to write her back. So anyway. All right. So thank you, everybody, for being here, for supporting Daniel, supporting what we're doing to try to bring all this information to you guys. Like I said, next week, we're going to do the trial testimony. And so I might start an hour earlier, depending on how long the trial testimony is. So keep your eye out for that. You know, it'll be in the schedule, of course. So I have nothing else to add for tonight. Great job, ladies, reading. I really appreciate your help. And everybody in chat, thank you for being here. Don't forget to like the video if you haven't already. Share Daniel's case through these videos, through Brian Bates, holtzclawtrial.com. And I think until next time, peace out.